Good day and welcome to JNN's Headline News. I'm Kimberly Reid. In the headlines at this time, residents of Standpipe in St. Andrew marched onto Old Hope Road Monday morning in front of the Commissioner's office to protest the killing of their community member, allegedly at the hands of the police. Residents are demanding justice for the death of Shay Williams, also called Rufus. They insist that his death was as a result of police brutality. Shay Williams, who is believed to be in his early 20s, was shot dead during an alleged confrontation with the lawmen last week, Monday. Dancehall entertainer Vybz Kartel began his appeal on Monday after nearly 4 years of being sentenced to life imprisonment for murder. Kartel's attorneys are seeking to overturn his conviction. They asked the court to quash his conviction on the grounds that he was not given a fair trial. The hearing is scheduled for 3 weeks. Kartel, Sean Storm Campbell, Kahira Jones, and Andre St. John were sentenced to life imprisonment in 2014 for the murder of Clive Lizard Williams. Prosecutors reported that in 2011, Mr. Williams was taken to a house in Havendale, St. Andrew, where he was killed. His body was never found. Fabien Skirving and his girlfriend Nekia Thompson, who are charged with the January 9 murder of a Jamaican-Canadian couple in Retreat, St. Thomas, are scheduled to appear before the St. Thomas Circuit Court on Monday. When the matter came up for mention last Thursday, the court was told that the forensic and DNA reports were still outstanding. Attorneys for the accused did not apply for bail. Mr. Skirving and Ms. Thompson were charged with 2 counts of murder and robbery with aggravation after 81-year-old Melbourne Flake and his 70-year-old wife Etta were found dead at their vacation home on January 9. Education Minister Senator Reid has allegedly promised $61 million to 9 schools in St. Ann Northwestern. This promise has reportedly left the opposition People's National Party (PNP) enraged. The PNP is accusing the government of blatant and deliberate misuse of state funds for political gains and is calling for an investigation. Senator Reid was recently announced as the Jamaica Labour Party caretaker for St. Ann Northwestern. The PNP says there is clear evidence that communities and projects are being handpicked for monetary support from the public purse based on only political advantage. It alleges that during recent graduation exercises at 9 schools in St. Ann, Senator Reid promised $3.1 million each to 7 primary schools and $20 million each to 2 high schools. Farmers in St. Elizabeth are to receive help amid the severe drought affecting the parish. St. Elizabeth has been experiencing drought conditions for at least 2 months. Minister without portfolio in the Agriculture Ministry, J.C. Hutchinson, says the ministry is contemplating various interventions. Last week, Member of Parliament for St. Elizabeth Southwestern Floyd Green called for a drought intervention program for the parish. A licensed firearm holder was taken into custody by the St. Andrew South Police on Sunday night following a shooting in Duhaney Park, St. Andrew, in which a man was seriously injured. The firearm holder reportedly shot the man in the chest during a dispute over rent. It's reported that shortly after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the 2 men had a dispute at a property in Duhaney Park. The injured man tried to drive to the hospital, but the vehicle crashed. He was taken to hospital by another motorist, where he was admitted in serious condition. The licensed firearm holder was later arrested and his firearm seized. The Jamaica Defense Force Coast Guard and the U.S. Coast Guard have made a $2 million drug bust on Friday in the Caribbean Sea. It's reported that the teams intercepted a vessel transporting 2,116 pounds of ganja. The U.S. Coast Guard crew members offloaded the ganja at Key West, Florida. The team had just returned from an 88-day patrol in the Caribbean Sea and Atlantic Ocean. The U.S. says Friday's operation represents an ongoing regional maritime security effort in conjunction with international partners to combat transnational criminal networks and promote stability in the Caribbean. And in international news, The government of British Prime Minister Theresa May has been plunged into turmoil with the resignation of two senior cabinet ministers in a deep split over her Brexit strategy. The Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson quit on Monday, hours after the resignation late on Sunday night of the minister in charge of Brexit negotiations, David Davis. A third member of the government, Steve Baker, a junior minister in Davis's department for exiting the European Union, also resigned. Only 3 days ago, May appeared to have agreed on a deal with her fractured cabinet on the UK's post-Brexit relationship with the EU. That plan is now in tatters and her political future appears uncertain. And that's it for Headline News. Join us at 8 p.m. for more details in Frontline News. I'm Kimberly Wright, wishing you pleasant viewing.